Hello, it's Finn, and today I'm going to make yet another video about HS, because I'm currently dealing with a flare-up, and it sucks. So, here you go. So first of all, I want to do just a quick primer on HS. And so HS is an autoimmune disorder that is characterized by getting boils on various parts of your body. You can get them anywhere really where sweat or friction or both are generated. And so you can get them on your face, your arms, legs, trunk, your chest, around your genitals, on your back. It doesn't really matter. So this video is going to be about taking more of a holistic stance on treating HS, or maybe on attacking HS, like trying to get some of these symptoms to go into remission, so to speak. And so first let's talk about autoimmune disorders. And so an autoimmune disorder is pretty much just a disorder where your body isn't able to distinguish self from non-self. And when I say self, I'm talking about your cells, the cells that make up your body. When I talk about non-self, I'm talking about antigens, viruses, bacteria, anything that enters your body that's not supposed to be there. And so your body sees your own cells and are like, is that shit supposed to be there? Did you call him? And so they attack. Like, your immune cells actually attack your own cells, and it sucks. So oftentimes when someone has an autoimmune disorder in one body system, they have a totally different autoimmune disorder in another body system. I mean, it goes to show you that your immune system is pretty much ubiquitous within your entire body. And so there's different endogenous chemicals that are being, transferred, but across the board, your immune system is pretty much the same across your entire body. And so it makes sense that you would have multiple autoimmune disorders if your immune system is kind of wonky. And so for me, I have HS, and I'm at stage 2 at the moment, and it's actually gone pretty far into remission. Like, it's pretty good. It's just that currently I have a flare-up, and so it's actually not that bad. It's actually kind of awesome. And so for anyone who would like to see it, I'll show you at the end. So I have not only HS, but I also have some issues that are connected with my HS with my digestive system. And so whenever I eat something that I should not be eating, I'll get an HS flare-up. And it's just very interesting to see that happen. And it sucks, but it's interesting. It's still fascinating because I'm a scientist through and through. And so I like to experiment and see what things that are good for me to eat, things that are bad for me to eat, and all that stuff. So for instance, I love celery. Celery is great. Celery is wonderful. Celery is my shit. But it causes me massive issues. And this is because celery is mostly made of water and cellulose. And cellulose is a component of plants that our bodies cannot digest. And for most people, cellulose is pretty good. Cellulose or fiber. There, yeah. And so eating a lot of fiber kind of helps your digestive system to get things moving along. And this is because fiber is a irritant. It pretty much just irritates your bowels until your bowels are like, get that shit out of here, let's go. And for people that have issues with their digestive system, cellulose or fiber, it can be very harmful. It can cause a lot of issues because, I mean, your body isn't able to distinguish self from non-self, and then it has this thing irritating stuff. It causes damage. So celery is something that I endeavor to avoid, even though I love celery. Also, I avoid red meat. I actually do enjoy red meat. I am a vegetarian by necessity, I suppose. And I'm closest to being a pescatarian, which is pretty much a vegetarian that eats seafood. So I like fish, I like crabs, I like lobster, shrimp, scallops, mussels. I'll eat all that shit. But you have to be careful with fish and seafood because mercury levels and all that stuff. Like, I think the standard has changed. I can't remember how often you're supposed to eat it to avoid getting like mercury poisoning or some issues with bio shit. I can't remember. Oh my god, I just got out of school and I can't fucking remember this word. Bioaccumulation. Yeah. I can't remember exactly the number, so check that out. So in becoming a pescatarian or semi-vegetarian or whatever you would like to call it, I have found that my HS flare-ups are less intense. I still get flare-ups because it's caused by stress mostly. My flare-ups are caused by stress. But they're less intense and there's less drainage. So yeah, red meat super messes me up. And that brings us back to earlier this week where I had this pot roast. And so I had like maybe 2 or 3 mouthfuls and I am currently having a flare-up. It hurts. Not as much as it has in the past, but it's still painful. And really what happens to me when I eat red meat is it's like I just drank a gigantic vat of just oil. Like I'm really sluggish. I'm really tired. I just don't want to do anything. There's some malaise. I have a lot of bloating, like a ridiculous amount of bloating. And that's probably why I'm so tired. And my body just kind of shuts down. I just really just try to avoid red meat, but I think it's super delicious. And so eventually I'll, get over it. And it's not even like I'm a person that's really super into red meat or into meat in general. I've pretty much been borderline vegetarian for most of my life, and I enjoy things that taste good, and sometimes meat tastes good. But yeah, I'm not one of those people that has, a whole lot of ethical problems with the concept of eating meat. I do have ethical problems with how livestock is treated and how it's processed and all that shit, but that's a totally other story. So I'm not a vegetarian because I have any kind of cause that I'm working towards. I find that my HS is a lot more tame when I am not eating any meat or anything with a lot of fiber in it. So yeah, for anyone who wanted to see what stage 2 looks like, I'm about to show you. And if you don't want to see it, it's actually not super bad. It's more like lumpy flesh. And so it's almost like I have just a really, really, really big pimple without a head. And that's pretty much what it looks like. But yeah, so I'm going to show you. For anyone that doesn't want to see it, you can go ahead and stop. It's going to be the end of the video, so go ahead and just stop it. For those who stayed, this is what stage 2 HS looks like. Oh. And so yeah, I have a scar from an old one from like a couple months ago. Oh, not a couple months ago, from last year. Shit. That was like 4 or 5 months ago. This is a scar from that old one. There was also one there like a few years ago. But yeah, I get a whole lot of scarring. You can see like there's a sinus that's there. When I stretch, you can see it like kind of stretch out. And then I have 2 drainage areas and then these 2 big lumps. So it's actually not super bad. It's a lot better than it was before, and I obviously shave it because sometimes shaving it is helpful, sometimes it's not. I usually shave it, and that helps to keep flare-ups from happening because, I mean, it's kind of caused by infected hair follicles. But yeah, so that's stage 2 HS, and I would say it's probably mid-level 2. Maybe a few months ago, it was borderline 3. So yeah, that's pretty much it. And so I hope this talk has been helpful for any of you suffering from HS or who know people who have HS. I would suggest to anyone who has it to consider becoming vegetarian or vegan because it's a lot better to avoid things that are hard on your digestive system. But yeah, peace.